No matter what your station in life is, what your job is, how much money you make, your relationships, whatever the case is, no matter what your station in life is, you will never be exonerated from pain, uncertainty, and hard work. That really sticks with me. It's just whenever some kind of adversity or challenge pops up in life, you're just like, oh, right.
Hey, everybody, it's Ryan Hodge here, broker of record, owner at the Realty Firm, and this is another edition of the No Secret Agent podcast. My purpose and our purpose here at the Realty Firm is to bring forward stories from our members, some of our colleagues, to really share what's making a difference inside of this ever-changing industry. And today I'm super pumped because I've got one of our long-term members, Chris Graham, that has come on. Chris is a longtime agent, which we'll get to, who focuses really exceptionally well on both personal and professional development. He's having some tremendous success this year, and we are fortunate to welcome you today, Chris.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. So let's jump in. Take us through your story of how you got into real estate, because I know it's been a while. You've been with us since, almost day one, and we'd love to hear more about, your kind of progression through the industry, and we'll jump into, a number of other things. It's early Saturday morning, and I think we'll touch on that a little bit later, as far as, those early mornings and some of the stuff that we often talk about here at the Realty Firm, or at least you and I together. But take us inside of your real estate story and background.
Yeah, that's great. So 22 years now, I've been licensed. I got licensed in 2001. So coming up in June, it will be 22 years. So that's a nice milestone. I can't say that, you're always good as your last quarter, month, deal, all things like that. But it's nice to look back and say, hey, you know what? I've been doing this for 22 years. I've got the experience. I've met so many amazing people, had so many amazing clients, and learned so much. The backstory at how I got into this was a good friend of mine at the time. He had decided to get his real estate license. I was working in sales for Bell at the time, and I just saw what he was doing. He kept talking about it, and he kept saying to me, he said, you should get your real estate license. You'd be good at this. This would work for you. And I was like, well, no, I don't think so. I was sort of in my comfort zone at the time. I was pretty young. And so eventually he had talked me into it, and I went and I did it. And then, it's been a few companies since then, but I've been with you guys now almost the longest, I would say, if not the longest, since 2014 is what I want to say.
Yeah.
So it's been great to see our company grow the way that it has. I'm super proud of coming in on the ground floor of the company and seeing what's happened and all of the changes and the progressive attitudes that our company, the Realty Firm, brings to the real estate market.
Love it, man. And I appreciate you because we're fortunate that we've grown to, over 100 members now. And we've got great relationships with all our people, but I will say that, there's, like in any company or organization, people that, connect and align. And my goodness, to see what you've done, not only in your real estate sales part, but what you've done on that personal level, which I think that this episode is going to focus a little bit more on that because it is your wheelhouse. But what's unfolded for you by, your whole transformation physically, mentally, spiritually, and how that continues to, serve others inside the company, which we'll talk about, a little bit later as well. But, also serving your clients is just that example. So maybe take us through what your beliefs or what your philosophy is on personal development, how that transformation that you've made physically has led to, all areas of business and life opening up for you.
Yeah, it's amazing at the interconnection of how you show up, what version of yourself shows up on a day-to-day basis, and how that helps your business unfold
Mm-hmm.
in the way that you want it to. So for me personally, it starts with energy. So that is sleeping, eating, moving, breathing. That's my foundation right there. And when I have that foundation working properly or optimally, let's say, then work unfolds in a much, I don't want to say easier because there's always going to be challenges, but you're able to take on those challenges
Mm-hmm.
in it from a perspective where you're okay with them. You're okay with the challenge, you know. And I would also say too, it's really strengthened. So part of that energy, work, and then love is combined with that. So how you show up in those three areas all affect each other. And when you can show up to a client, to their home, and sit with them at the table, they're going to see that this is someone who lives with a high value system or lives with virtue.
Mm-hmm.
They take care of themselves, therefore, they'll take care of me. They are engaging with me in an energetic level. They're just not expecting the business from the client just because they showed up. They're willing to work for the business. They're willing to do all of the things that need to be done in order to be at your best for the client.
Mm-hmm.
So that really, I find, and this business is all relationships. It's all relationships. So I find showing up as a high level version of yourself really helps you engage and create a strong relationship with the client. And you're there, you're comfortable when there's adversity or a challenge within, putting a deal together, selling a home, purchasing a home. You're going to show up with confidence, and the client sees that confidence in you. They feel that confidence, and they know that, hey, I trust this guy. You know what? He's really showing up at an energetic, high level. He wants the business. He wants to do the work, and he's not afraid to take on challenges or adversity that may pop up.
Super. And I fully agree on all levels. I feel that is important from a leadership perspective as well. And gosh, I've got a long ways to go myself, in certain spaces, and we dialogue on that often. But how did you go down this road? I mean, I've gone down the personal development path for, a long time now. I mean, when I started, my life was just chaos, chaos and disorder. That's not always the reason for everybody, but that's my story. But what about yourself? Like, what took you down the road of enlightenment, the self-serving work, the personal development? What took you to that space?
Life changes like so many other people. In 2018, I had some pretty major life changes happening for myself. And I think without knowing it, I was looking for something that was going to help me with more fulfillment. And it ended up being coaching. So I discovered a coaching company based out of California in 2018, and they made a proposal to me to join their company. And as it turned out, it ended up changing my life. Took me down a whole different path that I maybe dabbled in it a little bit, but this path of self-optimization. And I think I felt like I dabbled in it. I read a few books here and there, but never really moved from theory to practice. And that's the key with this kind of thing. When you want to optimize your life, you have to learn how to move from theory to practice and then eventually to mastery. So that's been the goal. That's been the journey since 2019. I've met this amazing community of like-minded people. And these people, they just want to continue working on spiraling upwards, closing the gap of who you are presently to what your highest potential is. Always working on closing that gap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this coaching company taught me. And they taught me how to move from theory to practice and slowly moving into mastery. But what is mastery? Mastery is just practice over and over and over again. That's what mastery is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the road that I went down. And again, they taught me the 3 crucial steps of that, which is get your energy right, which will get your work right, and get your love right.
Oh yeah.
So that's been what I've been working on for the last 4 to 5 years now. And you know, it's amazing because what you realize after you go down that road is that you're actually never exonerated from it. This is a lifetime of work. It's a body of work that lasts your entire life. And there's a lot of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 1 step forward, 1 step back. But ultimately, you're just making that slow, steady spiral upward. And the changes in your life, all of a sudden, you're just like, wow, what happened here? I mean, they become very palpable. And it's been an amazing ride.
Super, man. And I fully agree. Sometimes I think that we feel like we've arrived somewhere and, you know, we can revert back to old ways, which, you know, a lot of the things that we have, you know, accomplished or are accomplishing, they get a little bit closed off. I've certainly been in that experience myself over the last 5 years where, you know, certain patterns that I went back to, you know, certain doors start closing, working on spiraling upwards to have more doors open is, you know, a big part of my life too. And what I want.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there's a book that is one of my, it's in my top 3 for sure, as far as how it's affected me. And the one author talks about it over and over again, that no matter what your station in life is, what your job is, how much money you make, you know, your relationships, whatever the case is, no matter what your station in life is, you will never be exonerated from pain, uncertainty, and hard work.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that really sticks with me. You know, it's just whenever some kind of adversity or challenge pops up in life, you're just like, oh, right, I'm never going to be exonerated from these things.
Yeah, totally, man. Totally. So when we, you know, explore, you know, groups like this, and I'm going to transfer into not just the realty firm, but into other areas. To me, you know, coaching or training or anything, like the number one piece of that is accountability to others, accountability to ourselves. How do you stay accountable, or how do you define what works for accountability? Because right now, you know, and I've got a hardline message about real estate coaches, trainers, theorists, profiteers, you know, all the people that have never sold a house, but they're, you know, preaching this. I feel the same way about a lot of leaders that, you know, they're not holding themselves accountable. How are you going to hold your people accountable to being productive? What's accountability about for you?
So accountability starts with commitment. Making commitments, number 1. Honoring commitments, number 2. Being accountable to yourself and to others, number 3. And recommitment, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
That to me are the 4 high points of commitment and accountability. And not only do we need to be committed to ourselves, we need to be accountable to others, but we also need to, we're committed to our clients, and we need to be accountable to our clients as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that when you sit down at a table and you are talking about potentially doing business for a client, they want to feel and they want to hear that you're committed to them.
Mm-hmm.
And that is really, really important. I think it's easy for, and we'll put this in a real estate term, it's really easy for realtors to have expectations that a client that they've maybe been, that they've worked with in the past or have been referred to them, they get these expectations of entitlement.
Yeah.
I deserve their business is what they think.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is when you make it clear that you're committed to them and you're committed to staying in touch with them and you're committed to educating them on the process and walking them through the process, and then you honor that commitment to them, that's going to make a happy client. Not putting a house up for sale and not talking to them, not calling them, not communicating with them. And unfortunately, we see some of that where, someone might go incognito, a realtor might go incognito on their client, but, being someone who is practiced at commitment and uses their commitment and honoring those commitments to a client, that's huge. And I think that you can really make it known to someone that that's what you're there for.
Mm-hmm. I think that it really transfers well. And one of the things that I love about what we do is we have, the accountability circle, which you're currently leading at the Realty Firm. Step in and out of leadership for those that are listening, as far as people that can facilitate an online group of committed people that want to commit, not just in business, but in different areas of life. We meet once a week and do this. And Chris has been awesome at, taking this group over inside of the company. What I always find interesting is that, it's just a small percentage of people that participate. And our percentage for training is a lot higher than many companies. But when you look at this group, where you have a fourth quarter of 2022, about 40% down in terms of sales volume for brokerage to brokerage across North America. First quarter, I'm guessing, is very, very similar, if not even more severe. But the small group of people inside of, our circle kind of taking off, having really good, strong years. Yeah, struggles, battles, challenges like we all have. But then you see people that have normally been having these, banner years, especially over the last few years where it's pretty easy to sell a house. I feel like it's a bit of that entitlement. They're not participating and they're struggling. Do you see a correlation to groups like that, or other areas where you can anchor yourself in, for accountability training or accountability, even progress or discussion?
Yeah, so there's a term that I was taught through my my coaching community that I absolutely love. It's called anti-fragile.
Mm.
And what anti-fragile means is that the more adversity and the more challenges, and so we're talking about within the market right now and as realtors, and the more challenges that you're dealing with, the better you get. So it's different from being resilient, or say, some other form of resilience. You are anti-fragile. The more you get kicked around, the stronger you get. And you get to a point where you're just kind of like, all right, bring it on. It's just another challenge. It's just more adversity. It's just going to make me better. Mm-hmm. And I think that's such a great attitude in this business, particularly in a market that doesn't really know what to do with itself at this point
Yeah,
right now. I
totally.
mean, it was way down, and then we've seen a bit of a mini bubble here again in the spring. And my suspicion is that that's probably going to let some steam out as well again. So yeah, it can be a roller coaster, and this is not an easy business. So if you are someone who can take on challenges and be anti-fragile, you're going to do well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What do you think that, a new agent should really be focused on just getting into the business now where it may be a little bit more challenging? There may be some unknowns. What advice would you give to, a new agent that's, getting started in real estate? And that can be, a strategy. It can be, the surroundings. It can be this type of accountability. What are your suggestions? Because you've been in longer than me. So you've definitely got some insight on different markets.
Yes. Relationships. Number one, relationship building. I can look back in hindsight. I mean, hindsight's great when I'm looking back and look at all of the things that I should have done better,
Oh, yeah.
or maybe even or maybe didn't do. And certainly relationships with people, relationship building, really start out with a CRM. I don't even know how long it was before I even started to use a CRM. I think I was in the business for 10 years and I didn't have a CRM.
That's amazing.
Yeah, right. So, get a CRM and put everyone in that CRM, your painter, the guy you met on the street, whatever it is, put them all in there. So that I would say, and this social media is a relatively new thing for real estate from my perspective. So come up with something like that. I don't do a lot of it, but I like the progressiveness of podcasts and other things that you do for the Realty Firm. So I think that's going to be a part of it as well. And yeah, and then back to the relationships, but don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone in relationships as well. I think that's a big thing that keeps people stuck, is that they stay in their circle of friends. Certainly I was guilty of that. They stay in their same circle of friends. Expand your circle of relationships, join new groups, do things like joining a speaking club or go join a meetup, whatever it is, but expand those relationships in however you are, you think that you should do that, but certainly step outside of your comfort zone. And, even for myself, we should always be trying to step outside of our comfort zone. Because I really do believe that there is fulfillment that comes with overcoming those fears, but also there's business there too.
I think that oftentimes as realtors, especially newer agents, and I've trained on this for over a decade through some of the strategies that we use, but so many people think that, the list that they have, that close knit list of friends and whatnot, are automatically going to use them. Which oftentimes, of course, our friends and family, those people that we network with, will do business with us, especially if we nurture them the right way. But there's a lot of times where agents get really frustrated because, the person that they thought was a slam dunk as far as, a client, they don't know that their uncle, their distant uncle is a real estate agent, or, somebody that they went to school with that they're really close with really doesn't want to, work with, friends for that kind of purchase. And so we can't just rely on that.
I have had it both ways many times. I've had people call me in and and have done business with complete strangers who have told me they have friends in the business and they choose not to use those friends because it's business.
Yeah.
I've also had it where friends, neighbors, whatever the case is, that, you get that message or that call. Usually it's a message because people don't want to actually call to say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm listing my house or I'm buying a house and I'm going to use this person. So you just don't know. And that's a perfect example of why you should always be expanding your sphere of influence.
Mm-hmm.
Never stop that.
No.
Because you are not going to get everyone's business that you think you are going to get. But I've had so many surprises over the years where I've gotten business from people who I did not know, and they've approached me. I had met them one way or another, whether it was a prospecting call or they saw my sign or an ad or something like that, where I've got their business.
Mm-hmm.
And they told me, they said, you know what, this so-and-so, this person who I would know through real estate is a good friend of mine, or it's this or that. And, we're just not comfortable using someone with that kind of close connection. So it works both ways, but it's a great example to be prepared for that feeling when it comes of someone saying who you know and you thought you were going to get that business, them deciding not to use you. And again, perfect example of challenge, adversity, time for you to accept that for what it is and move on. Because if you build out a big enough sphere of influence, the business is going to come.
Totally. 110% for sure. What is in store for the rest of 2023 and beyond for you? You've had a great spring market, which continues on, but what is, coming up next?
Yeah, well, you know what? It's momentum. And I feel like there might be some air let out of this current market right now as we move into the summer, which is pretty typical year to year. But using the momentum of my busy spring to keep going in the summer when there's all kinds of distractions, it's really easy, and I'm guilty as charged. It's really easy to let your foot off the gas going into the summer. And as you and I were talking about just before we got on, there are a lot of agents who pick up a lot of business in the summer because so many realtors are not working.
Yeah.
This is something to be very aware of, be very mindful of it. Watch yourself in the summer, watch the distractions. We all deserve vacations, no question. We all deserve that time at the cottage. But it's really easy in this business to go from I'm taking a week off to go wherever up north or something like that to I came home and I'm still not working and another week has gone by and then another week I'm working on my garden or my deck or whatever. And then the next thing you know, it's mid-September or October and you're like, wow, what happened to the summer?
Oh, yeah.
So momentum is your friend. When you feel that momentum in this business and in other areas of your life, keep your foot on the gas, keep it going as long as you can.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as other things in 2023, I have a blog that has gotten pushed aside because of the busyness in my business, called Commitment Academy. So I'm going to start that back up, and I'm going to start pushing. I'm going to start pushing that along with my business, and then I'm going to start building out my social media more, doing more video, and engaging in social media as well. And I think it's a nice fit with my Commitment Academy website and blog into real estate, and those two can combine nicely. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be part of my 2023 going forward, is to combine those together.
Cool. Would Commitment Academy be the best place to find you, or where's the best place for people to check you out and reach you?
So at this point right now, it would be sellinglondonhomes.com and email, phone, my phone number. You can text, email, get out onto onto my website, sellinglondonhomes.com. And you can reach out just like that.
Cool.
Eventually, I will have the Commitment Academy. I'll have like the Instagram page and whatnot with that. So I'll have a little bit more of a social presence for sure.
Awesome. And we would love to see some of that. And we'll put that out to our members at the Realty Firm and beyond. And so I hope everybody takes a great example of how, personal development can really lead into professional success and fulfillment as well. All areas. Chris has been a tremendous person to get to know, to work with, to certainly become friends with over the last nearly decade. Gosh, that's aging us a little bit. But the No Secret Agents podcast is designed to support anybody inside of real estate, whether you're a member at the Realty Firm or not. We want to keep contributing from that ultimate place of abundance. And if you have not checked out or gotten to know Chris Graham, please do so, because he's somebody that certainly inspires me. I admire him. He's been a big part of me refocusing, recommitting in certain areas that I needed to level up on as well. So Chris, thank you so much for spending the time today.
Super happy to be here. Anybody who ever wants to chat with me, whether it's real estate, commitment to other areas of your life, I'm happy to help. And Ryan, it's definitely been great to get to know you over the years, and I'm grateful to be able to call you a friend. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Everybody stay tuned for our next episode of the No Secret Agent podcast. Connect with us anytime, and we wish you an amazing rest of the spring market and into the summer. Talk soon.